I don't think anything could have prepared me for this Phoenix trip that I just took. So I really feel Phoenix might be one of the most underrated cities in America. Let me just say Arizona in general. So when people are talking about trips, oh, well, I'm going to the US. Oh, I'm going to, LA. I'm going to California. Oh, I'm going to Florida. I'm going to Orlando, Miami. I really feel it's like an underserved and undervalued destination for the kind of fun and experiences that you can have. And so it wasn't even on my radar to take a trip until literally just a couple months ago. So I got this DM on Instagram and I saw the blue check. I was like, who's this? It was actually the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, Brett Hundley. And so he was just super humble in this message, right? Just, hey, I love traveling. I love taking videos and pictures. And I said, yo, let's actually do a video in Phoenix. He's actually born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, but he's been gone for so long. So I said, this is gonna be an amazing experience for us both. He said, all right, let's do it. And then so I hit up the team, hit up Ant, hit up Couture, and I said, let's go to Phoenix. So if you've been following the Passport Heavy videos for any amount of time, you know I've been traveling around the world for the last 10 years nonstop, doing some of the craziest stuff. And so I've actually overlooked America. There are so many hidden gems here, and I'm actually excited to see more of the US since I'm living back here full time. And then so for me, Arizona, specifically Phoenix Land area, checked off all the boxes for me. They had good activities, great accommodations, great restaurants. The value is really good. Nightlife is incredible. There's literally something for everyone, and that's why I love Phoenix so much. So the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Phoenix is the people and the culture. So most people, when you run into them, you're talking to them on the streets, they're not actually from Phoenix, they're implants. They've said, wow, I want to come experience the weather, get away from the snow. A lot of people from the East Coast, people are coming over because the cost of living is so much better. So you pretty much have all these implants. And so me, I'm pretty well traveled. And I actually had some almost negative perception. Some of these big stories were coming up about Phoenix and maybe they're not accepting of everyone. So I kind of came in a little apprehensive and I actually saw the absolute opposite of it. And so the people are super friendly. I feel they almost have that Southern hospitality. People say hello, they smile at you. If you're looking for directions, oh, you go this way, and people are actually really helpful. So that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about Phoenix. But the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Phoenix is their restaurants. And so one of my favorite restaurant experiences was actually at the top of the Hilton Hotel. And this was literally a 4-diamond restaurant. And when you go up there, you know what time it is. That might be one of my catchphrases, you know what time it is. And so the view, we walked up there during sunset. I mean, it was exquisite. And so the sun was setting, you had the view of the mountains in the background, they had the fireplace going, and it just set a mood from the moment that you walked in. Now, when the food came out, I was like, all right, I'm excited. And I believe half of food is the look of it, right? The presentation, right? Because you eat with your eyes, and then the second half is actually how it tastes. And I will let you know right now, they did not disappoint. And Brett and Couture are actually huge foodies. And so Brett actually was like, yo, can I actually go meet the chef? I was like, yo, you are the quarterback of the Cardinals. I think we could probably make that happen. And then so he just shared a few words telling him how much he loved the food and just wanted to learn more about what went into the food. Now there is one thing I do know a lot about, and that is good drinks, especially an old fashioned. And when the old fashioned came out with one big ice cube, I was like, I know what time it is. And then while I'm talking about the Hilton, this is actually where we stayed for part of our trip in Phoenix. This resort is huge. You cannot walk around it all. You will get lost. In this resort, literally every room is a suite. And the thing I like about the suites too is that you actually have space. You have a bedroom space and a living room space. And if you're staying for 2 or 3 days, it makes such a huge difference when you don't have to just sit on your bed in your room. Man, I feel like I've been talking about the Hilton for a while. But another thing, if you don't know, they call me Young Tiger out here. I am probably one of the best golfers. I mean, when it comes to all my friends and a lot of people that I run into, I'm always shooting under par. But I actually had to stop by the golf store, pick up a few things. Actually, I didn't get nothing. I came prepared.
Are you a good golfer? Or?
No, never golfed.
Oh, you never golfed?
Yeah. And if you're a new golfer, they literally have world-class PGA professionals on site that you can learn from, or if you just want to brush up your game. So we got on the golf course, got on the golf carts, rode around, and the course is absolutely beautiful. And I'm not just saying that, you can see that by the visuals. And they actually have like one of the highest points for a tee in Phoenix, not even thinking Phoenix, maybe like in the world. If there's something unique about Phoenix, there is no shortage of bucket list experiences that you can have in Phoenix. And so if I'm gonna get up at 4 a.m., it's gotta be for something pretty good. And so we rolled up at 4:45 a.m. to do one of the most incredible experiences that I've ever done in my life. And that was hot air ballooning. I was like, man, I actually felt a little bit nervous about getting on a hot air balloon. But once I met the pilot and everyone involved, they were professional, literally from start to finish. And like, it was actually one of the coolest things, just watching the hot air balloon being set up. You're like, whoa, this thing is absolutely massive. And then once you get in it, you're like, whoa, this is actually pretty cool. So these views that you get during sunrise are things that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. This is truly one of those bucket list type of experiences. Every time I looked around, like everyone was just smiling, from ear to ear during this experience. And we learned a lot. And then so once you actually land, Captain pops open a bottle of champagne. You actually learn about the history of hot air ballooning. How did it actually start? Why is there always champagne involved in hot air ballooning? And so I have to give Rainbow Riders the biggest shout out. And they actually hosted us. This is something that I've been dreaming about doing for my whole life. So I can't recommend them enough. They are the biggest in the United States for a reason. Definitely let them know Passport Heavy sent you, and enjoy your hot air balloon ride. So how can you come to Arizona and not get like your Western style? When you picture those Western style movies, I think that's what a lot of people think about when they think of Phoenix. And so we rolled up to Cave Creek. It's about an hour outside of Phoenix, about 30 minutes away from Scottsdale. And it's just like the coolest Western people. And then I actually had some reservations going there because it almost has like a perception. I was like, these big black dudes rolling in. I was like, are we gonna be accepted? And they were the coolest people in the world, really friendly. And I was like, wow, like I couldn't have had a better welcoming to here, along with Brett. And so we get to the talking, and then the one guy's like, I was talking about bull riding, and I was like, yo, can I jump on the bull? And he's like, oh yeah, you gotta sign this waiver. I didn't know he was actually talking about a real bull. I thought he was talking about the mechanical bull, like real ass 2-ton, however much these big ass things weigh, bull. And he's like, you wanna ride it? I was like, well, the way my life insurance policy set up, I don't think so. So this is bucket list type of thing. So I'm doing a mechanical bull with the man behind the camera. He's got those big cojones, and he did the real bull. If you come out of here, you know what you gotta do. Anyways, we out of here. And so literally, next thing you know, we're eating, we're doing our thing, and Ant's like literally jumping on a bull, riding a bull. If you wanna do that when you come to Arizona, you can actually do it. But we did the mechanical bull. That was too much fun. And then we're like, yo, we can't come here without learning how to line dance as well. So the homies, we out here learning how to line dance. I mean, from start to finish, it was an experience that I'll never forget. An amazing people, amazing venue, and I can't say enough. And I tell people, like if my homies are watching, like, yo, it's actually something that you have to experience. So talking about experiences, so in Phoenix, the first Friday of every month, they have First Fridays. If you saw our Oakland video, they also got First Fridays. And here, just basically a collection of locals and tourists coming together, and they have you have local vendors that have like sometimes juices and soaps. They had this amazing woman. I bought an art piece from her. She had just the most beautiful black art. And then talking about day activities, so the Kentucky Derby was happening while we were in town. So obviously we weren't in Kentucky, but they have a racetrack. But we went to the Bourbon Day Party, and this thing, from the moment that you walk in, you're like, all right, everybody's dressed to the nines, having a good time, the champagne is flowing, the whiskey is about, and people are just enjoying having amazing conversations. And we're just literally going around to random tables, talking to people, and everyone was just so invited, like, oh my God, come talk to us. And it was just fun. We only got to stay for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I was like, oh, I don't want to leave. So after that though, we went to another day party. thing was fun from the moment that we showed up. Beautiful people around, no drama, just everyone having like the most amazing time. People dancing, people twerking, like just living their best life. But man, it was like just an amazing time from start to finish. Biggest shout out to them, their host, everything was great. We even played a little foosball. We played beer pong with like basketballs or like little soccer balls. It's just set up to have fun. Like, do not miss this place if you have a chance or you just want to just let loose without, judgment. Like, show up there. I can't wait. When I go back to Phoenix, there's one spot that I will not miss. And so you can't party all the time, right? Like, it's just one of those things that you do to let go. I mean, you work hard, and if you're taking a vacation, you want to enjoy it. It's one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been, literally, in my life, was about an hour outside of Phoenix at Lake Saguaro. And I'm probably murdering that pronunciation. But once we rolled up, I was like, whoa, like, this is simply breathtaking. And one of the things that people love to do there is cliff jumping. And so a lot of people were just out there jumping off the cliffs, having the time of their life. Also, man, we met these cool dudes on the boat. They had like this souped out, boat. And then they took us out tubing. And this thing was like the most fun thing ever. But a word of advice, if you're jumping into lake, and then if you're going tubing, I went out with like a $500 Apple Watch. I didn't realize till an hour later, I was like, oh, damn. I lost my Apple Watch while tubing. So word to the wise, do not take your watch out when you're jumping into the lake or you're going tubing. And so one of my favorite activities by far is definitely flyboarding. The kind of feeling when you're just like shooting out the water, and then here when you've got such an amazing view, I hate to say it's something that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life, but it really is. And it's another bucket list type of thing. Brett got on the thing as well. And then this is like where you saw where the men separate from the boys. Me and Brett thought we were cool. The girls thought they were doing okay. And then like one of the guys that actually took us out, he went and they were like, this is how you flyboard. And like I said, we went to the lake twice. It was that good and breathtaking. And so make sure if you can stay till sunset, it's really one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen in my life. Arizona in general has some of the most amazing sunsets. And then one of the other times when we left before sunset, on the way back, we saw this amazing lake and we're like, hey, let's do a little bit of hiking. And we went and saw like this little lake, this creek. It was just beautiful. Sometimes they have wild horses running along. And then I could not think of a more cinematic moment. I'm literally walking by and this dude is just painting the mountains. I'm like, fam, like this is like a movie. And like those are the vibes out there in Arizona. So now after all that tranquility, you might want to turn it up. You might be like, Jabril, all right, enough with all this nature stuff. What about the nightlife? There's one place that you want to go if you want to experience nightlife, and that's Old Town Scottsdale. So right now we're walking Old Town Phoenix. So if you want to go out at night, if you want a good time, if you want it to be lively, Old Town Phoenix is the #1 place that you want to go. All the top nightclubs in pretty much Phoenix, Scottsdale land area. This is where you come if you want to party. Let's get it. And they also have a lot of the best restaurants and nightlife here. You just have you can walk to literally 10 different clubs within 5 minutes. And so that's Old Town Scottsdale. We went to a few different places, but they showed some love when we rolled up to these places. The one spot literally had our name on it. They're like, yo, Passport Heavy, welcome to the building. I was like, I appreciate that. If we're gonna spend some money, at least make us feel good. The women are beautiful. Everyone's just the one thing about Arizona was people were just having a good time and there was no drama. Just pure enjoyment, letting their hair down and enjoying to the fullest. So after all the partying, after everything, if there's one place that you want to go, about an hour and a half from Scottsdale, about 2-hour drive from Phoenix, is Sedona, Arizona. when you think about tranquility, when you think about peace, when you think about calmness, this is that place. We rolled up to the Hilton Sedona, world-class resort. Absolutely loved it. And it's like a modern, like I think the place wasn't finished too long ago. So super modern, those fresh bed sheets, the good showers, just everything to make you feel comfortable. Their spa facilities are incredible. And now let's talk about food. I was eating, and then the chef actually came out, said hello, and I was like, I just started talking to him, because I always want to know if someone actually loves what they're doing or they just do it for money. And then I could tell this guy just truly loved what he was doing. And the more that I talked to him, he said, yeah, I literally make 90% of the things on the menu from scratch. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, down to the hot sauce. I was like, okay. And it was taste test approved. After eating, we're like, yo, let's actually get a quick workout in, because I actually have a really cool gym. So if you're into like CrossFit or like that kind of like outdoor kind of cool stuff, not many hotels have this. And so I gotta send a big shout out to the Hilton. They actually hosted us. And one of the things that they told us about was this Mexican restaurant called Elote. They're like, yo, this is like world ranked, like the 4th best restaurant, Mexican restaurant in the United States. I was like, oh my God. But they're like, I do want to tell you though, you're probably gonna be waiting at least an hour to get a table. I was like, nah, for real? They're like, yeah, it's like lines out the door. And when we rolled up, that was the case. But I was like, it's completely worth the wait. The tacos were incredible, the tamales, the margaritas, everything lived up to the hype, and I was like, wow. And then Brett as well. Brett was like, this is probably some of the best Mexican food I've ever had in my life. Katora was saying the same thing. And so if you have the patience, it's well worth the wait. Next morning, woke up for one of the coolest must-do activities in Sedona. It's not like maybe if so, you have to do a helicopter ride in Sedona. This was incredible. They took the doors off, and the guidance helicopters were professional from start to finish. Because one of the things that I look for, I don't want you joking around too much with me if you're my helicopter pilot. Like, have some fun, but I was like, you better bring me up, take me down safely. And so that's one thing that they were, great facilities. And just like I told you, everything from start to finish was professional. And you're seeing Sedona in a way that you can't see it any other way. You can't get to these places by hiking. It's just truly one-of-a-kind experience, well worth the money. And it wasn't even like too bad. I think we did like a 35-minute tour, and I paid like $250, $270 like a person. Well worth the money. And so I want to send them a big shout out. Pilot was amazing. And that was like the last activity that we did in Sedona. I can't tell you enough good things about Sedona. Big shout out to the city of Phoenix. I appreciate you to the fullest, and thank you for having us and being so friendly. I cannot wait to come back to your city. And then also your sports teams. You've got the Suns, you've got the Diamondbacks, you've got the Cardinals, you got a hockey team, but I don't know their name. And you have all these things that just make an amazing city. And so I highly, highly recommend it. And like I do at the end of every video, I want to give the biggest shout outs to Justin. He just helped hook up so many things and help navigate the city. My homie Brett, thank you for hosting us as well, showing us around. And I really appreciate how humble you are. That is one of the things that kind of threw me off guard, just how down to earth you were. So I appreciate that. You got a new brother for life. Katora for helping produce this episode. And then also Anthony, the man behind the camera that literally shot and edited this entire video. People think these are some big, like 10-person production crews, just small, efficient teams. And so I want to give him like the biggest shout out. And then also Rainbow Riders for the hot air balloon. I appreciate you. And then also the Hilton Hotels for hosting us. All the other things I paid for out of pocket. But no, I appreciate everyone, and I cannot thank you enough. And if you're going to these establishments, tell them Passport Heavy sent you, because I'm gonna talk to them and see if I can get you some discounts or whatever going to these. It might be 10% off, you might get free drink or whatever that is, but let them know, because I want them to know when you're watching these videos, it's actually influencing the decisions to go and do these different things. And then from there, I was like, maybe I won't have to pay for these videos in the future because we put so much time and effort. I was like, I have a good time, so I don't mind actually paying for these things. But it actually feels better if I'm adding so much value, literally adding millions of dollars to these economies. I at least just don't want to end up paying for the experiences that I'm doing. But I'm out of here, man. I appreciate everyone. Take care.